In the ancient world, when the heavens and the earth were still filled with mysteries, and mankind was just beginning to become aware of the supreme power in heaven, there existed a mysterious story passed down through generations. This is the story of the Watchers, angels entrusted with the noble duty of overseeing and protecting humanity. But amidst a world full of enchantment and temptation, the Watchers could not resist the power of lust and greed, leading to the greatest betrayal against the Creator. They not only mated with the offspring of humankind, but also passed on divine secrets that humans were never meant to know. The consequences of this betrayal forever changed the fate of the Watchers and mankind, creating a dark chapter in our mythological history. This is a story of fall, sin, and punishment from heaven, a story recorded in the Book of Enoch, which continues to captivate the minds of those who seek the hidden truth in the mists of time. The Book of Enoch, though not a canonical work in major religions, remains a fascinating and notable text. Written around 300 BCE, this book is one of the ancient texts of Judaism and is still revered in some modern traditions of Christianity and Judaism. The central character of the book is Enoch, the ancestor of Noah, who is also mentioned in the Book of Genesis. One of the prominent elements of the Book of Enoch is the story of the Watchers, angels described as the sons of God and inhabitants of heaven. In chapter 7, there are hints that the Watchers, also known as Gregory and Enoch II, were assigned the task of observing humanity, guiding their development without being allowed to intervene. However, the situation changed when these angels were captivated by the beauty of human women, something they could not resist. Enoch recounts that as mankind grew, their daughters became so beautiful and graceful that they attracted the attention of the Watchers. Despite their role being only to observe, the Watchers discussed among themselves and decided to take these women as wives. They not only violated their role as observers, but also directly interfered in human lives, something they were forbidden to do. Semyaza, the leader of the angels, warned the others about the severe consequences of this action and expressed concern about facing punishment alone. However, the other angels reassured Semyaza that they would face any consequences together, and each would take responsibility for their actions. In total, 200 Watchers decided to descend to Earth to take these women as wives. The Book of Enoch also lists the names of these leaders, describing how they taught human women forbidden knowledge, from magic and medicine-making to classifying trees and roots. This suggests that the Watchers revealed heavenly secrets that God never intended for humanity to know. This action was not only a betrayal of God, but also corrupted humanity with knowledge not meant for them. The women who mated with the Watchers gave birth to a hybrid race between angels and humans, known as the Nephilim. The Nephilim is a controversial subject, but when we consider Genesis 6 verses 1 to 4, we see that the Nephilim existed on earth during this time and afterward when the sons of God came to the daughters of men and had children with them. The Nephilim are described as heroes of old and men of renown. However, in the Book of Enoch, the offspring of these women are called giants, and these giants began to destroy everything humanity had built. The giants, or Nephilim, then became violent, killing humans, and when they grew bored with this, they turned on each other. In this chaotic context, chapter 8 of the Book of Enoch introduces Azazel, an entity believed to be a Watcher, who taught humanity how to make weapons such as swords and knives and the art of warfare, similar to how the other Watchers revealed heavenly secrets to humanity, like magic and medicine-making. Azazel also taught humans how to use precious stones and colors to transform and manipulate the world according to their will. Azazel's actions led to a decrease in respect for God, and sexual immorality spread, corrupting all human paths. The rest of the chapter continues to recount how other Watchers taught humanity about astrology, science, astronomy, and with their presence, humanity was destroyed, and their sins reached their peak, causing anger in heaven. By chapter 9, the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel looked down from heaven and realized the dire situation on earth. They immediately went before God and primarily blamed Azazel, reporting that he had taught humanity wicked things, revealing to them the secrets of heaven. They also blamed Semyaza, who had taught humanity magic and led the other Watchers to mate with women, creating godless giants. The archangels asked God what they should do to restore order on earth. In chapter 10, God then sends Uriel to speak to Lamech's son, Noah, and tells him to hide, explaining to him what is about to happen, that the entire earth will be destroyed in a flood, and that all that exists will be wiped out. He instructs Uriel to tell Noah how to escape the flood, and that his lineage will survive across the entire earth. Then, God instructs the archangel Raphael to bind Azazel by his hands and feet and cast him into darkness by opening up the desert that lies in Dud-Ale, a region of the underworld. He tells Raphael to throw sharp stones on him and cover him in darkness so that Azazel will remain there forever, without light. On the great day of judgment, God assigns Raphael the task of casting Azazel into the fire. God instructs the archangel Gabriel to destroy the Nephilim, the giants, or the offspring of the Watchers, by making them turn against each other, intending for them to annihilate each other. Finally, God instructs the archangel Michael to confront the leader of the Watchers, Semyaza, and tell him that he, along with his followers who mated with the women, have been defiled and that their children, whether they are their angelic children or the children they had with earthly women, will be killed before their eyes. After witnessing the slaughter of their children, they will be cast down to the deepest part of hell, where they will encounter fire and be imprisoned forever. By chapter 12, we are told that Enoch was entrusted by the Watchers, and that they called him Enoch, the scribe. It seems that God instructed Enoch to convey his message to the Watchers that they would never find peace due to what they had done. There seems to be a contradiction here because the archangel Michael surely did this when God instructed him to do so in the previous chapter. Perhaps Enoch was instructed to do this to emphasize God's message that the Watchers were being informed by both the archangels, who were higher than them, and by a human, who was lower than them. When Enoch told them of their fate, it showed that the Watchers were no longer above humans in God's eyes, as they were being informed of their fate by a human, putting them on par with humans and perhaps even lower. In chapter 12:5-7, he says, "Then the Lord spoke to me, Enoch, the scribe of righteousness, saying, Go to the Watchers of heaven who have abandoned the high heaven and their holy place, who have defiled themselves with women and have acted like the children of men by taking wives, and who have been greatly corrupted on the earth, that they shall have no peace on earth and no forgiveness for their sins, for they shall not rejoice in their children. They shall witness the slaughter of those they love, shall mourn for the destruction of their children, and shall beg forever, but shall never receive mercy or peace." In chapter 13, it is interesting that Enoch only seems to confront Azazel, who is believed to be the main culprit in all of this, even though the leader of the Watchers is Semyaza. It may be that while Semyaza only wanted to mate with the women and share some of the secrets of heaven, he did not share the malevolence that Azazel had when he taught humanity about warfare. Notice that Azazel did not seem interested in earthly women, but was solely intent on teaching humanity about swords, knives, and the transformation of the world that was created perfectly as God intended. In chapter 13:4-5, Enoch says that he spoke to all the Watchers at once, and that all of them were terrified and trembling. He goes on to say that the Watchers pleaded with him to relay their regret and repentance to God for what they had done because they could no longer ascend to heaven and could not even look up at the sky due to shame. Therefore, Enoch prayed for them until he fell asleep and had a dream and vision of punishment, and he was instructed to rebuke the Watchers by telling them what he had seen. When he awoke, he approached them and recounted his dream, reprimanding them for what they had done. In chapter 14, Enoch explains that when he spoke, he was speaking with the words and voice of God. With this voice, he told them that they would not be forgiven as they had asked, and that they would never again be allowed into heaven and that they would be bound to the earth as long as the earth existed, never knowing peace. The fate of the Watchers does not seem entirely concluded. We understand that they were bound for 70 generations under the earth and would remain there until the day of judgment, where they would be cast into the deepest abyss to be burned in the fire. By this logic, some believe that the Watchers are still there, imprisoned beneath the earth, waiting to be cast into the fires of hell in the final days. We do get a glimpse of where the Watchers may have been exiled in Enoch chapter 21, where we see Enoch take a personal tour of heaven and other regions in the universe. In 21:2, he says, "And there I saw not a magnificent work of a high heaven or a well-established earth, but only a desolate place, prepared and dreadful." By 21:5, Enoch recounts that he saw a great fire burning and sparkling, in the midst of which was a division, with pillars of fire struggling with each other to the bottom of the abyss, and the abyss was where they went down. In 21:6, the archangel Uriel, who was accompanying Enoch through this terrifying place, asked him, "Why are you horrified and astonished at this terrible place, at the sight of this place of suffering?" He said, "This is the prison of the angels, and they will be imprisoned here forever." Although the Watchers are not specifically mentioned here, one can imagine that this would be the type of place where God would keep those who had betrayed him, a place of suffering. In the second book of Enoch, we see a collection of stories about Enoch's journey through the various heavens. But in the fifth heaven, Enoch discovers Grigori, an angelic race that resembles humans, their size larger than the largest giants, but their faces no longer vibrant, only silent expressions. This heaven is also the least magnificent among the heavens that Enoch had seen up to that point, which he describes as having no service. It is understood that the Grigori in this text of Book of Enoch 2 is actually similar to the Watchers in Book of Enoch 1. Enoch asks the angels accompanying him through the heavens about the Grigori, and the angels reply that the Grigori were once led by a prince named Satanael, and that they, like the Watchers, descended to earth against God's will, took women on earth, and did as they pleased, causing chaos with their offspring. What is notable here is that their leader is not mentioned as Semyaza, but instead as Prince Satanael. This is not explored further, but there are those who believe that based on the similarity of the name and the role that Satanael takes, this is a form of Satan. The reasons for this belief include that in chapter 29 of Book of Enoch 2, Satanael is again mentioned along with his angels when they are cast down from a great height. Similarities can be drawn with Revelation 12 verse 9 in the Bible, where Satan is cast out of heaven and thus from a great height. As the passage reads, "Satan, who deceives the whole world, was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." Moreover, in the same chapter, it is understood that Satanael tried to place his throne above the clouds on earth so that he could become equal in power to God. This is reminiscent of Isaiah 14 verse 13, where Isaiah seems to be targeting Satan, quoting him saying, "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God." Of course, you can also consider this coincidental and not really evidence for linking Satanael with Satan. In any case, Enoch continues to pray for the Grigori but quickly realizes that they have been condemned and that God's contempt for them is absolute. He notes that he intends to bury them under the earth forever and ever. Enoch also notes that at some point, the Grigori began to sing, and their voices reached God in a pitiful manner. This suggests that the Grigori have now withered and broken, that they could not sing convincingly enough to attract God's attention. The fact that they tried to sing may indicate that they had remorse and sang out of despair in hopes that God would release them from their binding. Alternatively, you could also say that the lack of conviction in their singing is a sign of insincerity, that they were not truly repentant and were only trying to please God to escape their imprisonment. Needless to say, the story of the Watchers is fascinating and provides a captivating tale despite being an unofficial text. The story, though thousands of years old, still brims with themes of betrayal, morality, desire, and ambition. It helps convey a different perspective on how sin corrupted the world. It also offers another layer to explain why God may have destroyed the world with the flood to eliminate the Nephilim and cleanse the land corrupted by the Watchers. It also introduces us to intriguing and profound characters to analyze, such as Semyaza, the leader of the Watchers, who understood his responsibility and intended to adhere to it only to be swayed by peer pressure and give up. It also introduces us to Azazel, a Watcher seemingly most responsible for the incident, and shows his malevolence as he tried to teach humanity about weapons and war at an unnecessary time. We also witness the power of the archangels, such as Gabriel, who was sent to destroy the Nephilim, and Raphael, who directly confronted and defeated Azazel. Essentially, you could say that the early chapters of Enoch give us a glimpse into the concept of angels fighting angels and show the strength of evil, that it can corrupt even those born from goodness. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below about the Watchers, and if you have any other stories about them from other religious texts. Do you think these types of texts should receive more attention, or even be taught as doctrine because of the lessons they contain? Let me know more about the types of videos you want to see next in this series on angels and demons. Don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. See you next time.